Hello and welcome to this video on how to use the 247 time system. Here we're going to show you how to use the system in respect of nursing, and in particular how it's used in combination with the new system that we have that calibrates the pay rate according to the hours that a nurse has worked. So therefore it will determine whether the hours are social or unsocial and pay accordingly. So we're going to show you in this video how to log in, change your passwords, how to add a candidate into the system if they're not already in there, how to then use that information to find a job and assign them to that particular job role, and then importantly on a weekly basis how to add in the information relevant to that candidate for the hours that they've worked and what evidence then that you need to upload as well. We'll then show you how to find your weekly trading, and last but not least how to then go and complete a theory test in order to get a username and password. So you can see there by the virtual circle how the system actually works. It starts with the trust requiring a nurse, and they may come to you as an agency and ask for a nurse, or equally you may go and tout to them that you've got a nurse available. Subject to that being okay, then if the candidate's not already in 247 time, you'll go in and complete a candidate profile for a nurse, and that's a once-off job, and the nurse then goes away and works at the trust. It's following that working week that the information gets loaded into 247 time in terms of evidence and the hours that have been worked, and then somebody from the trust will go on and approve those hours, and then we do what's called a consolidation that arranges for payment to then go through to you, the agency, and then we start again with another working cycle. So that's how the system actually works. So what we're going to show you in this webinar is how that's broken down into each of its separate components. But before we do that, just a couple of points that we need to point out to you. So information governance, just a few things here that we need to point out to you. Usernames and passwords are specific to you and must not be shared. Not particular in this case for nursing, but you'll find in other aspects of 247 time, and it may well come in the future that you are required to upload documents into 247 time, and you should have the necessary permissions from your candidates in order to do that as well. And you'll see in terms of the screens that I'm going to show you, you can actually download information from 247 time, and where you do that, it's really important as an agency that you do keep that information safe and secure. And we all hear stories of where memory sticks or CDs are left on a bus and a train, and the consequences of that getting out into the public domain is really quite a problem, as we've seen with a number of companies. So really important to keep that safe and secure. We comply with the Information Commissioner's Office's Data Protection Act, and we police that the users do as well. So in this respect, using 247 time for nursing within the NHS, you can only do so within the UK. So you're not allowed to use anything outside of the United Kingdom. And just a reassurance from us that we don't sell or trade your information. 247 time is just a means of conveying information from your candidate yourselves to the trust and vice versa. Okay, how to log into 247 time? Well, navigate to time2.247time.co.uk and you can bookmark this location, and you can use any device that's connected to the internet. And we have people logging in on iPhones, Android tablets, iPads, Apple Macs, as well as the traditional PCs and laptops. But the one thing we would recommend that you do is always keep your browser up to date. We use Google Chrome here at 247 time, but your browser of choice, just make sure that you are using the most up-to-date version, as there are compatibility issues with older versions of browsers which could cause problems if you don't update. So really important to use a relevant browser that is up to date. If you do need to get hold of us, you can contact us on 0333 1014 247. But we operate a ticket-based system here at 247 time. So if you have any query or issue that you have in using the system, then you need to email in the first instance support@247time.co.uk. You'll be sent a ticket back that acknowledges that you've sent a request in, and you'll be given a ticket number. So if you do need to call us, we will ask you for what that ticket number is. So it's really important that you do email us in the first instance. So logging into 247 Time, it's a question of having a username and passwords, and I'll show you how to get one of those issued to you later on. But anything you see in blue is where you click to enter information or click to retrieve it. So forgotten usernames and forgotten passwords do exactly as they say on the tin, and then you can just click log in once you've entered your username and password. That brings you then through to the dashboard, and the dashboard is our means of conveying information that we think is important that you should see. So you could we could send that email to you directly to your email addresses, but for belt braces purposes we'll place it here as well, and you can click on any of these blue lines here to read the relevant email, and indeed go in and have a look at any older dashboard topics as well. The top navigation bar, if you think of this as the drawers in a filing cabinet, this is where you're going to go to look at different pieces of information or to store different pieces of information. But having logged into 247 Time for the first time, you'll be asked to accept our end user license agreements, which is a once-off thing, but we'll normally ask you to go in and change your password to something that's more memorable to yourself. And the way you do that is by clicking on settings here on the right hand side, and then you'll be given a screen here that will ask you to input the password that we've given you plus the password that you want to use, and you enter that information in twice and then click on modify, and that then becomes your password from there on in. So let's go in now and have a look here at candidates. How do we enter a candidate into the 247 Time system? So click on candidates, and that brings you to these screens here, and I've clicked two screens in one here just to save a little bit of time. You'll normally just be presented with a empty box and a search icon here. So if you've got a candidate that you've already entered into the system, and say for example their address changes or a telephone number or what have you, you can just enter the information in here, click on search. So you could type Fred Blogs, click on search, and Fred Blogs will appear in screen B, or you could just type in Fred, click on search, and up comes all your Freds, or you can click in blogs, click on search, and up comes the blog. So you get the gist. If you leave it blank and just click on search, you'll be presented with screen B, which is all of your candidates, normally in alphabetical order, but you can sort any of these columns here by just clicking the column header. And to go in and amend a candidate, all you do is you click on the blue, which is their NI number or their candidate profile ID. Whichever is in blue is what you click on to enter that candidate information. Down the bottom right here you see export to Excel, and that's where the information can be downloaded onto your device. So in this case it will be your candidate information that will be downloaded in a CSV file that you can use in any third-party application or manipulate as you wish within your own systems. But we're going to go and register a new candidate. So you click here on register candidate, and up comes the candidate screen. So you can see here, very simple. It's the national insurance number. You'll see your agency name appear here, then it's just the candidate details. Do click the male or female radio button, because a lot of NHS trusts will want you to define whether it's a male or female candidate. Particularly as a lot of names now can be gender neutral, so just define whether it's male or female. And there are no documents required for NHS nursing at the moment, but where that would be the case, you would upload the relevant file, as you can see here, by just browsing to the location and uploading it. And then once you've entered that information in, you click save, and you only need to register a candidate information once, and obviously only ever need to go back into it if it ever changes. So that's as simple as it is to register a candidate into the system. So let's go in now and have a look at jobs. So click on jobs. Before we do that, I just want to show you then what you're looking for here. We're looking for the candidate band, and that could be a number, and at the moment it's 1 to 8, but that could change. But basically it's the candidate band, and if it's an AWR role, you're looking for this job title, which will just have post at the end of the job title, and obviously the ward name as to where your candidate is going to be working. So let's show you how that works in the 247 time system. So clicking on jobs, then you'll enter in the job role name, so in this case band 2, and this particular nurse is going to work in an AICU, so that'll be on the confirmation that you'll get from the trust, and then just click on search, and it then brings up, as you can see here, band 2, and this you can see here the nurse is working in AICU, so that's the correct job. So what we're going to do now is click on the blue, and it comes up with details just to confirm where that nurse is going to be working, so we can see, yep, that's absolutely right. And then we click on assigned candidates, and this you'll see here in assigned candidates, 247 time you can have one candidate working in the role or 20, it doesn't really matter, but at the moment we've got nobody else working in that particular role from our agency in that particular ward. There's that export to Excel again, and then what we're going to do is assign a new candidate. So you click on assign new candidate here, and here you only see your candidates and your candidates only. So I'm going to look for John West, or you can scroll through all of your candidates through the listings here to find the one that you want. So you click on search, and when you found your candidate, click on select, and then the final screen, what it's asking you then is you'll see your agency name, select the branch that you're supplying from. You may be a one branch operation, or you may be part of a multiple chain of agencies. So select the branch that you're supplying from. It'll confirm the band, the job title, the national insurance, and the name of the candidate. If your candidate's already been working some weeks on AWR, then you can put that in there, and there's a reporting function for AWR within the 247 time system as well. But you'll enter the start date in here, so basically the start date of when the person commenced that particular role. Just a tip here, we invariably find that trusts may give you an end date, but that end date could always be, as we know, flexible. So if you're not 100% confident that that end date is actually going to be the end date, then leave it blank, and that candidate will remain on the timesheet till either you go in and terminate them off the roll yourself, or that nothing happens to that candidate for 6 weeks, in which case this system will automatically cleanse them off the timesheet themselves. So again, save and close on that, and that's your candidate now assigned to the job role. We've designed 247 time to be quite intuitive, to be a point and click type system. So I guarantee once you've done this a couple of times, you'll find it very, very easy to do. So let's now go and have a look. Having now entered a candidate into the system and assigned to the job, is how do we then enter the hours, and this is the only job that you do on a weekly basis. So first thing to do is click to timesheets, click the client, so this is the trust where your candidate is going to be working, and then the ward where your candidate is based. So we used AICU, and then it'll come up with the week, or you can go to the week concerned, and then it confirms the details of the candidate. So you can see here again, you only see your candidates and your candidates only. So you can see here some trusts use BRNs or purchase order numbers, and you'll find that information on the 247 time support website. So whether a trust uses BRNs or not, you'll be able to see there, and how to get them as required. So you can see here, you'll input the purchase order numbers there. So you'll either input them, as you can see here, with a / or just a space, and then enter them. So if somebody's giving you 7 BRN numbers for 7 shifts for that particular week, then input them in individually with a / or a space in between them. It confirms the job, the band, and here is where we can add the hours. So all you do is click on hours, and up comes here, you can see a grid for every day of the week. And all you do is you click from left to right, and this then will populate this blue bar that shows that's the shift that the candidate has actually worked. But obviously now we need to input the breaks that candidate has actually had, and you can see here, if you then input click right to left, that then unblocks that particular space. So we can see here that this candidate started at 7 and had lunch at 1 o'clock, and then commenced duties then back at 2 o'clock, and then worked at 6 o'clock. And that's as simple as it is to add the hours in, and the system will automatically calculate what hours are to be paid at what particular rate. It automatically does that. And as you can see here, you've got this apply to next day icon here. So again, you can just click on each of these to apply for how many days are relevant. Remember to click save, and that then brings it through. Now, the one thing to remember on this is if you've got a candidate that's working Sunday hours and then that goes over to the Monday shift, the NHS just want weekly blocks. So just remember to add the Monday AM hours to the following week. So as you can see then, what's happened here is that the system has now populated the timesheet with the hours. It splits out what are the standard hours and what are the daily total hours, and then it gives you an idea of what the unsocial hours are as well. If there's any notes that you want to add to bring to the attention of an approver, then this is quite a useful function here. So you can click on notes and add in any notes relevant to that particular candidate for that particular week. Equally, what the approvers will do is if they're unhappy with that particular candidate for that particular week and they're not going to approve the timesheet, or for whatever reason, they can add some notes in here as well. So really important that if you have a query about that candidate for whatever reason, go in and have a look and see if there's been any notes that have been added in. Okay, and the last thing we need to do is to upload a copy of the timesheet. Now this timesheet could be your timesheet, it could be a department's timesheet, or it could be a generic trust timesheet. It doesn't really matter. What you're looking for here is confirmation that it's the doctor, that the doctor's added in the hours that they've worked, that the doctor signed it, and equally somebody from the department has signed it as well, because the approver may be somebody different than somebody that actually works in that department. And then just remember to always save all changes so that then is recorded. So let's show you how the timetable actually works. So basically a nurse will come in and register at your agency, and then you'll basically load their details into 247 time and go and find them some work at a trust. It's the following week then that the nurse works at the trust Monday through to Sunday, or any combination of that as required. And it's week 3 where the activity takes place in terms of recording the hours, uploading evidence and getting it approved. So as you can see here, Tuesday typically by 5 p.m. we will have expected you, the agency, to have added in all the hours and uploaded BRNs and evidence as required. But a tip here is to say to your nurse that we need this by Monday. So it just gives you an extra day built into the system in order to get this information into 247 time. Then a trust approver will go in on a nominated date, and this could be a Wednesday or a Thursday, and they'll go in and have approved the timesheet. And subject to that being all okay, is the trust will pay as per contract terms. So what happens then if you get a situation where a candidate has been working at a trust for a couple of weeks and then you suddenly realise that they're not on the system. So clearly you need to get paid as you've already paid the candidate. So how do we correct that? And let's just show you how we do that. Historical timesheets are where you can go in and add information into 247 time about weeks done previously for any of your candidates. You can add up to 4 weeks yourself. If you need any more than that, then please contact 247 time through the support email address and we can arrange that. But typically you can go in and add up to 4, so up to a month's previous timesheet. So how do you do that? So to add historical timesheet, what you do is you click on candidates, find your assigned candidate then, so go to your candidate person and then go to their record, and you can see here add historic timesheet, and you can do it through the job function as well by finding the job, and you see the same screen it brings you to, so add historic timesheet. So you click on that and it will ask you for the week ending date. So this will always be a Sunday for the week ending that you need to add, and then add that by clicking on the add button. When you finish that, you'll go to the timesheet as normal and go in and add the information as you would do as normal. The slight difference here is you can see it's shown in pink, and that's there to show the approvers that this is an historical timesheet. So there may be hours that they need to approve for a current week, but equally there may be hours that they need to add for historical timesheet as well. And what you'll then do is just complete that as normal, and again remember as usual always to save all changes. Okay, so that's historical timesheets. You may get a situation where the hours are wrong as well. So let's just show you how you do that. So for example, you can go again through the timesheet function, click on the trust and the department and the relevant week. And if you click on the adjust hours, what it will then do, the system will then add a line in yellow where you can then go in and add in any amendments accordingly, as you can see, and as you would do had it been the ordinary week, and then the system will make those changes to that particular candidate for that particular week. And that's basically as simple as it is to add information into the timesheet. So we don't expect you to always remember that, and you remember you can always come back to these videos and review them at any particular point in time. So having run a consolidation, then what do we need to do in order to establish what our payments are going to be? So trading information, you can look at invoices, and then for every week, for every trust that you deal with, there will be 2 files. There will be a line for every week, and there will be 2 files included in that particular line. So the first will be an invoice file, and then there will be a data file. So 247 time is a self-billing system, so it generates the invoice on your behalf to the client. Okay, so you don't need to invoice any trust because 247 time does that for you on your behalf. So if you click on download the invoice file, it downloads a PDF file showing a net amount, VAT where applicable, and a gross amount. So that's your invoice. Okay, if you then click on data file, you can download to your device a CSV file that contains enough information for you to shake a stick at, and this you can pull upside down, inside out, any way you like. It contains every piece of information in respect of your trading with that trust for that particular week, and our recommendation is that you go in at least once a week just to see that it matches your expectations, because as we all know, it's a lot easier to do things when they're fresh in your mind than it is from 6 months on from here. And by the way, this information is always available to you, so if you do have a query later on in life and you want to go back in and have a look and just clarify some information, all of this data is always available for you to download on demand. So what happens when a doctor or a nurse is not getting paid? What do I need to do? And I just want to show you this just so that you understand that there are 3 main areas that we tend to find, and again All of this information is available for you on the 247 Time website, the support website, in order to help you avoid typical errors that we see. So first and foremost, is the candidate profile has been completed or not completed correctly, as the case may be. So really important, where documents are required, that you do upload those. Not necessarily in this case at the moment for nursing, but that could well change. But again, really important that you do complete the candidate profile, because it's something you only ever need to do once, so make sure it's correctly done, and that avoids any of those issues. Secondly, it's about assigning your candidate to a job role. They must be there in order to be visible on the timesheet, and equally assign them to the right job role as well, because if you don't do that, they'll appear on somebody else's timesheet and they'll be ignored. So really important to get them on the right job role, and then having done that, it's that weekly process of completing the hours that they've worked, any BRN numbers, and populating the timesheet with the hours and uploading the evidence as well. And so long as you've done that and you've saved all the changes, the approver will go on and approve it as the case may be, and everything will run tickety-boo. So being human, we all realise that there are cases where things can go wrong. So if you've got a query, these are the steps in order to follow to help it work for you. So first and foremost is review the support website. Go and have a look at the page for each trust, and it will provide you a lot of information in order to get this right. So in terms of BRN numbers, timesheets, that sort of thing, everything is there. So have a look at it and see if there's anything there that leaps out at you that you may or may not have done. Second thing to do is to follow your candidate's journey through the system. Look at their profile. Does it contain what it needs to contain? Secondly, have I assigned them to the right job? And if those are ticked, then go in and have a look at the timesheet. Does it contain the right hours? Have I uploaded the BRN numbers? Is the evidence there from the doctor to show a signed timesheet? Is there anything in notes that somebody has added in that I haven't acted upon? If that's the case, then you need to act upon it and take any remedial action required. And if that's the case and it's all being ticked and approved, then what you need to do is send us a ticket to 247 Time support, and that's, sorry, the email for that is support@247time.co.uk, and we'll intercede on your behalf and have a look at it and see what the actual issue is. But we do expect you as agencies to go in and self-medicate as well, in order to understand what it is that you may or may not have done wrong. And that's it really. Next thing to do is to go onto the support website and click on training down here on the bottom left, and navigate to the different sections. Now this nursing will contain two splits here, so click on the relevant nursing video if you want to go back in and have a look at this video again in full depth, and then take the theory test. And then basically once we've got a record that you have actually passed the theory test, then we'll send you then back your username and password to enter and use the system accordingly. So that's it from us. So thanks very much for watching this video, and there are the relevant links at the bottom of the screen. Thank you.